Welcome back, DNA Strand crew, to the newest episode of Stardom Situm Saturday. More specifically, it's week 7 for Stardom Situm Saturday. I'm your host, TJ Blake. You can follow me over on Twitter at FFTJBlakeDNA. And as for always, I'm joined by my co-host here for Stardom Situm Saturday, my good friend, the ultimate Lions fan, Teixeira, Justin Tessier. You can follow him over on Twitter at Teixeira91. Teixeira, you ready to rock, man? And hopefully the Lions bounce back after that blatant miscarriage of justice last week. And I do give you credit you on that.
Shame on the NFL.
100%. We'll see what the Lions could do. I mean, Dan will have the boys ready. I know that. There's no doubt about that. But
it's a game, the Baker Goff shootout. Let's go.
That will be a great game, man. And, we talked about Baker Mayfield being one of them guys that has absolutely risen maybe to that top 5 dynasty quarterback range. I mean, top 7 anyhow. As everyone knows that will be tuning in with us tonight, the chat will be open if you have a start-sit question. If you have a trade question, you want to talk about anything week 7, it's over there. We're always willing to talk to you guys, and we do enjoy that. It's added a nice little extra wrinkle to this show. This show is all about helping the DNA Strand crew, and that's what we're here for. But as we await questions, Teixeira, week 7, bye weeks continue to roll around, injuries continue to roll around, a lot going on in the NFL. As always, we start with the quarterback position for starts and sits. Who do you have for a quarterback start for week 7 this week? We got some injuries, as I mentioned. Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy down. We know they're out. So who do you have at the quarterback start for you for week 7?
For me this week, I am rolling out Jaden Daniels against the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell you, that last week against the Bears, it was a blunder, that mistake. He wants to wash that bad taste out of his mouth at the end of that game and get things fired up and going. I know that he has some weapons missing. Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz is questionable, but hey, where there's a will, there's a way. Dan Quinn will get those guys fired up and ready to go, and I think Jaden Daniels is most certainly on a warpath and trying to right the course and get the Commanders in a win column. And for on the other side, Dallas defense is suspect. We've seen Caleb Williams light him up. We've seen Justin Fields light him up. We've seen Bryce Young light him up. So there's no doubt in my mind that Jaden Daniels can do an equivalent amount of damage against this Dallas defense, if not more. And he's comparatively with those other quarterbacks that I listed, he's got, if not the best efficiency as far as the mobility goes and getting that rushing points and performance that we need out of him for our fantasy lineup.
I love the call out. And, to be honest, it's hard. It was a little bit disappointing for Jaden Daniels, really not from a fantasy standpoint so much, right? Just, the fact that they did lose that game to the Bears, and there was a lot of weather conditions going on, things like that. And I give you credit going back to him, not hesitating. I'm with you 100% on that. And this Cowboys defense is atrocious. We talk about that all the time. It is bad. That's what I said. You remember, Teixeira, I said, go buy Bryce Young. You go buy Dak Prescott. Nice, not Bryce Young. Go buy Dak Prescott because, the thing is, I knew they'd be in a lot of these shootout type of games, and here it is. We see it. He's quarterback 3, I think, right now. So I see a good game for both quarterbacks on either side of the ledger here. How many points you put Jaden Daniels on this week?
I got a floor of 20 points. I think caveat to that is at least one rushing touchdown in the end zone, probably about 60 yards on the ground. And then his ceiling could be 28 points. I think if he could get a multiple touchdowns to his backs out of the backfield. And I think if we see any more of this Luke McCaffrey show, I think he's siphoning the health like his brother in San Francisco of all these other wide receivers, and he's like leveling it up or something. I don't know, but I've seen him be a red zone threat in games prior. I think Jaden Daniels will lean on him to find his way in the end zone to help him out with that ceiling.
I like what you said about stealing health. That reminds me of like Pokemon, the move absorb or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
I like that, Sarah. I do, but we do have some questions filtering in, and I do like the Jaden Daniels call. Little Boy Blue J asks, hey guys, traded Stafford and Pitts for Daniel Jones. I currently have Jackson Dart, George Kittle, and Waller on the roster, as well as Kyron Williams. 4-point per passing touchdown. Thoughts? I really like the move. Look, let's be honest. I don't know what kind of format you're in, if this is redraft or if this is dynasty, Blue Jay, but to be honest with you, I mean, either way, I like this move. I like the faith you have in Daniel Jones here. Like Kyle Pitts,
Mhm.
to me, I mean, we could always wait for the breakout. It never
Sorry,
happens, right? I mean,
Slim.
yeah, sorry, Slim. If Bob was here, he'd tell you the only good games he has is against Tampa Bay. He wrote that down on the Big Bob's blackboard this week. So I like that call. I mean, I like that trade with Pitts going for Daniel Jones, and I do like Stafford. Look, I mean,
Mhm.
he's so hot or cold. The injuries are a problem. He could be hit or miss, and we know he's getting old. So from a dynasty perspective, if it is dynasty, it's even better to me, this kind of trade here.
Oh,
But
yeah.
even in redraft, I do like the move. And I love how you laid out your roster for us. You have a lot of
Thank
good
you.
pieces there. Yeah, you have a lot of good pieces there. So that gives me more confidence in the move you made. I don't know how you feel, Teixeira, but I do like the trade here for him on this
I
scenario.
absolutely love that trade. If this is dynasty, he's getting younger at quarterback, and he's getting, offloading a fan project in Pitts. And I think going for this, asking whether who to start between Daniel Jones and Jackson Dart, I'm a little bit leery of the Jackson Dart against that Denver Broncos secondary. I think they'll have him in check, and I don't think he'll have as momentous of a game as he did last week against the Eagles. And for that reason, I like the amount of injuries that the Chargers have in the secondary over there. I like a healthy, strong alpha wide receiver one and Michael Pittman, and I like the prospect of Tyler Warren finding the end zone. So I'm going to lean Daniel Jones over Jackson Dart this week.
Yeah, he said it is just redraft 12 man,
Okay.
but that's still a great trade in my opinion.
Mhm.
You're getting the better player in the deal. The tight end position, you can get some of these guys off the scrap heap, and you do have Darren Waller, who's just been on fire. George Kittle, who will be one of the premier guys when he's back. So that was a great move, man. I really do like the
Yeah.
move a lot. And then we have a start sit question here to Shara. Justin, Jordan Mason or Brees Hall? Yeah. So Jordan Mason or Brees Hall this week, Teixeira. This is like a pick of your favorite type of
I
players
know
here.
this is my children. These are my kiddos. If you've followed us since the beginning of the season here, these are my two like guys I've been preaching from the mountaintops about all year long. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to sit one down. I'm gonna have to play the other one. And this week I'm going to go with Brees Hall on against the Panthers. I know it's not ideal against that defense, but I just think that this player has specifically a better breakaway and better breakout potential this week against that defense than Jordan Mason. I think he's just a more explosive player. He's going to have more opportunity with Garrett Wilson going down, a rookie tight end, and not really having much else for Justin Fields to work with. I hope the Jets lean on him more heavily and get him involved early and often, and he finds his way in the end zone at least once. And I think Jordan Mason's going to have a tough time against that Eagles front.
Okay, so we are joined by a guest here who's coming in right now. Big Culture Bob. Fresh off the press here, we have a question, Bob. Fresh off the press. So I want to see where you're at on this. Teixeira is going to go on the Brees Hall side. Who you starting? Who you sitting this week, Bob? Jordan Mason or Brees Hall?
I think I'm going to go. I think he said Brees Hall, right? I think I'm going to
Yep.
go the other way. I'm going to sit Hall. And did you say you'd sit Hall or start Hall?
Start him.
Start.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to sit Hall if I can for Mason. Now, obviously, I would start both of them if I had
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity. I just think that I'm real worried about them being super. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking myself into Hall. It could be super one dimensional and just have to run the ball, but like he could be smoked, constantly. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen that offensive line not hold up. I'm really disappointed. So put
All
him
right,
in a
so you're
flex if you can. I'm on the fence, really. Like I think I like both stop. You know what I mean? Both players are almost equal.
yeah, I
DJ
mean
the
it is.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, it is really close. And I mean, I think I agree with Bob. If you could somehow maybe sneak them both in your lineup, I agree with that. I think I'm going to lean Brees here. Just lean when I mean with a lowercase L. Like that's how close it is, right? Like, I mean, you can fit an index card in between it, but I just have a feeling like his
Yeah.
chances going up against Carolina a little bit better. I mean, I know the Eagles, with their situation, it could still be good for Jordan Mason, but I just, and like Bob said, there's going to be good volume there for him opposed to Brees. We see Brees get a little bit more of a split here and there, but I think the Jets, if they want to win a game, you got to start relying on some of your best players, man. And I truly believe that he is still one of their best players. Justin also asks AJ Brown or Quentin Johnston, Bob.
I don't trust the Philadelphia offense at all.
Yeah.
I would go Quentin Johnston, and I know crazy off of but with AJB, man, you could get 27, 2.7 points. It's I don't trust at all. And Johnston seems eyeball. So
yeah, and you know what I love
I'd go
the fact.
Johnston.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love the fact that you went with Quentin Johnston here, Bob, because here's the thing. Both players in my mind could be hit or miss, right? I think that's what you're looking at. Like, okay, when are they going to hit? When are they going to miss? But like if the odds were on one player a little bit better, to me, it's Quentin Johnston because the Chargers can throw the ball better than what the Eagles can. I mean, they just can. Like they're throwing it a lot better, a lot easier. Quentin Johnston has had the eye of Justin Herbert, so I do agree with you. I'm going to lean that direction. I don't know how you feel, Teixeira, but that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Johnston as well, just because I know it's a soft tissue injury, so that limits his explosiveness and probably the ceiling of a higher fantasy performance for him, as well as that flooded wide receiver room. They got Keenan Allen and Lad McConkey and Arade Gadsden there too emerging, but still, like I said a couple of episodes now, and I am officially, you can cash my ticket. I've got my receipt for the Eagles offense. I'm out. I'm not shopping at that store anymore. I'm not buying any product from there. I'm kind of just, it sucks because I like AJ Brown as the player. It's just a bad situation and a bad offense.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. Right now, it isn't looking good, but we have Justin saying, yeah, today I traded away James Cook, Samuel, Zach Charbonnet. Let's see here. In a PPR league redraft and got Mason Hall, AJ Brown. I have now Bijan, Harvey, Henderson, and now Mason and Hall. Wide receivers Brown, Rice, QJ, Marvin, DK. Yeah, I like that. I like that group that you have there. Definitely a solid room for sure. And look, I mean, Deebo Samuel's a guy that we see it already. The injuries have been a problem in the past. It's popping up again. Hope he continue to stay healthy, but he's a guy that proves that he really hasn't. Zach Charbonnet, that Seattle offense. Look, I mean, it's good for the NFL what they're doing, but for fantasy, it just isn't real sexy, right? The running game there. JSN's really the only player I super want involved with right now at this minute with the Seahawks. And I really like what you did. I mean, James Cook, yeah, that stings a little bit, but he could be a little hit or miss as well.
Yeah.
Like I know he's doing really well, but he isn't a true dominator, so I don't mind that. So, Bob, we have a defensive question here. Now, Bob is a little bit. He's a little bit of more of a tentative to the defensive side of the ball, and he's also an IDP wizard. But this is more of a team defense question, Bob. Chris asks, I have two decent defensive options, Kansas City Chiefs versus Las Vegas Raiders, or the LA Rams versus the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. What is you guys' call? Bob, I know just the way I know you, I think I know where you're going to go, but I'll turn the floor over to you first.
So I think you're assuming that I'm going to take the Chiefs versus Vegas. Now,
that's what I'd assume.
Ironically, Vegas has beaten the Chiefs like twice in like the last couple of years or whatever, and I would expect that game on American soil to score more points. I have no idea what it is about crossing that pond, but nobody wants to score. So I'm thinking that Jacksonville versus the Rams is probably going to be a low scoring game. So if you're scoring for team defense favors like points totals, I would just lean on any London game. If you're talking about like sacks and stuff like that, and I mean like Byron Young is tearing it up for the Rams. Jared Verse is a stud as well. Curl and them are clearing up the backfield. So I legitimately like the Rams defense quite a bit. And I think the KC game could end up being more of a shootout. And I mean, I don't know though. You could still get a bunch of turnovers from stupid Geno Smith. So like, But I just think that if it's more
it's so
score
juicy.
based, I think the score based, I would go Jacksonville. But like if you're getting a whole bunch of points for turnovers, you got a good problem. I don't think you can go wrong.
Okay, so Bob, I do love look, I know that you always like to pick on the Raiders, especially
Mhm.
on the network, but that just shows like the fact, like I said, you've done really well with digging in your memory bank because you're right. The Raiders play the Chiefs tough. This is a divisional game. So you do got to keep that in mind. And these London games have been sloppy, low scoring. I'm sure the turf isn't the best equipped for football, no doubt about that. So I definitely think I can agree with you here. I'm going to go with the Rams to share. I think Bob convinced me. I think he laid it out for me really well there. I
Okay.
was going to go the other side, and I will give Bob credit. He got me go on the other side of the fence there. I don't know about you, but that's where I'm at.
For me, I'll be the guy that does Bob's dirty work this week. I'll get my hands dirty. I'm gonna go take the Chiefs against the Raiders. I think if Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers are out, I think they stack the box against the Ashton Genty, and they just taunt and tease Geno Smith to throw it back there. Just be like, come on, throw it past 10 yards, see what happens. And I like the odds of getting a guaranteed 1 or 2 interceptions from Geno. Then uh because yeah, I am fully agree with Bob. I pound the table on that. Is just those international games are dumb, they're weird, they're silly, they're just not fun to watch and really abysmal for us for fantasy. So I think I like the idea of the Chiefs just bullying around the Raiders with injured off.
Okay, so you went on the opposite side. So we had 2 Rams, 1 Chiefs there for Chris. Let's go to the next question here. We got them coming in fast and furious.
Yeah.
We'll try to get through them quickly for you guys the best we can. JR Smile or Junior Smile asks, Bill or Jordan Mason this week, Bob? There you go. You got your man JCM Bill, or you have Jordan Mason. Who are you going to pick out of that?
I was really disappointed in Jordan or Bill last week. Like I really thought that he would have torn up the Bears, and
Mhm.
I just think that maybe the rain and I I, I don't know. It was I think that them come. We talked about this on the deep dive. I really think that the Bears coming off the bye helped them out way more than what I would have anticipated, and that's fine. You kind of expect guys that they needed. There's a lot of teams that need a bye week. You know, we could talk about that ad nauseum. But let's see. Oh my gosh. It was Bill and who again?
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason. We talked about that one already. I think.
I love it.
Yeah, give me. I'm going to roll with Bill again. I just think I don't trust the Cowboys defense. I
Mhm.
think it could be a shootout. I think that Washington needs to get it right. And if they're going to, they're going to have to establish the run and do a little bit. I know Terry McLaurin's going to be out. It scares me, but I think that means they may lean on Bill a little bit more. I like Mason a lot. This is another one where I'm like, if you could get them both in the lineup, get them both in the lineup. Unless you B John or whatever's your other guy, I'm like, try and figure out a way to squeeze them in.
Yeah, it's a good point, Bob. Again, try to get them both in your lineup. But look, I'm going to go with Bill as well here because here's the thing. We've seen Uncle Rico. Uncle Rico buy him for a pair of socks. I said it. He run right through Dallas like they were Swiss cheese. And, I could see Bill doing the same things here. He is a little bit of a pass catching back. A lot of good upside for him this week, I feel. The only thing is with Jordan Mason, I love the matchup, but, with
Mhm.
these quarterback issues in Minnesota right now with Carson Wentz, they just don't seem right now, right? Like they just don't seem like the Vikings we all know and love. I'm not saying they're horrible, but there's still more of an element for them to find their game. So I just think I'm going to lean Bill there, but I don't know how you feel to share it, but I'm going to stick with Bob and go Bill.
Yeah, I'll keep it a clean sweep here. I'm going JCM over Jordan Mason because of the points you laid out with the quarterback situation. I think with Bob saying the Commanders are going to want to make a statement against their division rivals and wash that bad taste of losing to the Bears in their mouth.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that was a clean sweep there. And then we have Junior Smile, JR Smile asking again, do you guys still like Travis Hunter for IDP? So, Bob, this is more your expertise. I'm going to turn the floor over here to you. What's your thoughts on Travis Hunter from an IDP standpoint?
I have 0 Travis Hunter shares, and I've talked at nauseum kind of about it. Number one, corners don't score a lot of points in IDP. So that's his primary position. If he came into the league and he was going to play safe and wide receiver, I think I'd be a little bit more excited. But he'd have to be on the field more and I don't know what the plan is. I don't think that he can be a good wide receiver and a good cornerback. He's either going to have to be a great wide receiver or a great cornerback. And I don't know if he can do both. So I've been out since day one. There's people out there that believe that, even if he plays 50% of the snaps, it'll be, decent. You know what I mean? I don't think you can go wrong throwing a guy in there, but it also depends on how deep your league is. I know I'm kind of rambling, but like in some of the leagues I start, we got 4 defensive backs we start. Yep. If you're starting as your DB4, yeah, sure, go ahead. It's a good dice roll anyway. But if you only start like 2, I don't want no part of starting a cornerback. So
yeah, and that's my experiences too. Like I don't play as much IDP as you do, Bob, but you're correct. Like corners do not make as many tackles, and that's the big thing. Like tackle makers, and I mean, yeah, the big play, if you can make a big play, that's going to sway points no matter what. But the limited snap share he's getting on either side of the ball can just mess that up. And I do agree with what you said. I think he's going to try to mainly stick to one position, right? Like I would love to see him more on defense, in my opinion. Try to let him develop on that side of the ball. And then let's say Jacksonville, it's the 4th quarter, you're down points, you need a big play. You want to throw him in, then throw him in, right? Like then you can maybe try to do something. Like that's the way I would approach it. So Teixeira, I don't know if you have any extra thoughts on that. I know that's more of Bob's world, the IDP world. I don't know how much you're involved with IDP, but that's kind of where I'm at. I think Bob laid it out perfectly. You have any disagreement?
No, not at all. And I'm avidly in IDPs. I joined 3 more new ones at the start of this season too. And my formats usually have been 4 DBs, and I have him sitting in my 3 or 4 spot. I've got a lot of injuries at the moment. I'm comfortable having him there, but if I have to rely on him as my 1-2, I am not liking that for the rest of this season. And I'm trying to pivot elsewhere. I mean, I like him in like the dynasty aspect of IDP for like maybe he develops and grows and becomes, up to a solid 3 on potential 2 upside cornerback. But other than that, I'm kind of pretty much until he gets on one side of the ball, 75-25, I'm pretty much trying to keep him to the bottom of my lineups or on my bench.
Okay. All right. So answered that question for JR Smile as well there. Now we have Dave Flynn asking, hey fellas. Hey Dave, how you doing? Full PPR, super flex league, Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne stack or Rattler stack with Kamara. What's your thoughts, or do you like other stacks, vice versa? So I'll start with you on this one, Teixeira. Would you rather go with the Mac Jones stack this week with Kendrick Bourne, or would you rather go with Spencer Rattler or Kamara? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, who do you like between those two and why?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it to these 2 before elaborating on like other hypotheticals or whatever. I like the Mac Jones Kendrick Bourne stack. We saw what he did on the Rams on that Thursday night game 2 weeks ago, and last week they still had some good rapport, even with some people coming back and Christian McCaffrey having himself a game. I just don't like the idea of stacking Rattler with Kamara because Kamara is questionable. He's lowering his snap percentages. Kendry Miller is cutting into his time. And I think that going up against the Bears up in that bad weather in Chicago, I think this could be a more run-centric type of game and not really much passing opportunities. And I think with that bad weather, it's just going to cause a bunch of sloppy mistakes. And I like the safer floor with Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne than I do Kamara or Rattler.
And first, let me say this. I appreciate the fact that you said about the bad weather, Teixeira, because that will come into a factor. Now, I think a lot of people look at the Mac Jones situation. Atlanta's a red light matchup, right? And you kind of look at Rattler, okay, a little better matchup, but Bob said it. Bob said this about the Chicago Bears. Now, whether they continue to do it or not, we'll see, but do they continue this trend of running the football? Because if they can run it, and they do run it well against New Orleans, that'll limit the amount of time that Rattler will have the ball as well. So, I mean, it could just be a sloppy, ugly game. It could fit right into that game script. So I do think I'll stick with, the Kyle Shanahan, Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne side of this and just hope they can do what they've continued to do, and we'll see what happens. That's where I'm at. Bob, any disagreement from you? I know you're kind of allergic to putting Saints in your lineup, and I know that you're more 49 friendly, so I'm sure you're probably going to agree with us. Am I right?
Yeah, I think I'd take my vitamin C and just go with the wide receiver. First off, I don't do stacks generally that are QB running back. I mean, I know Kamara is a pass catching RB, but they can get game scripted out one way or the other. You know what I mean? And running backs are such a volatile position one way or the other. I mean, I know Kamara is like super Kamario, right? But I don't really stack with my RBs. I do like the Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne stack. Um, and again, you guys laid it out perfectly. The weather is going to play a huge. I cannot wait to see what Caleb Williams debacles this week because I just don't see. I know it's like we're two sides of the fence. Teixeira and I are much more on the Caleb Williams just really. I don't know. It's just
Justin
it
Fields
is what
2.0.
yeah,
That's his
and
career trajectory coming.
yeah, we can't get on off topic. So like legitimately, if those are your guys, go with Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne. Bourne has looked really good since he got to San Francisco, and right now he's kind of the only show in town besides McCaffrey. And Mac Jones seems to have the eye for him. So
Okay. So we all clean swept there for the Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne side of things there, Dave. So that's the way we would go on that. So we have Alor's Domain asking right now, start Tet McMillan or Quentin Johnston. My wide receiver one is Sutton, and my other wide receiver is Zay Flowers. Also, if Josh Jacobs is out, should I put in JCM or Chuba Hubbard? So let's just start one question at a time here for Alor. Okay, so we got start Tet McMillan or Quentin Johnston. His wide receiver one is Sutton, other receiver is Zay Flowers. So would you basically start in that other spot, Tet McMillan, Quentin Johnston, or Zay Flowers is the way I see it, Teixeira. Who are you going to start in the other spot?
I'm going to eliminate Flowers because the Ravens are on a bye this week, and I'm going to go Tet McMillan because I think they could bully around that Jets defense and just make this game kind of just a slobber knocker of Bryce Young having a simulated practice out there, being able to throw the ball a little bit more than he normally is.
Okay. Who are you going with, Bob?
yeah, I legitimately got totally lost because he brought Zay Flowers into the picture, and I'm like, he's on bye week, and then I'm like, and then I think the key here is ESPN format, and again, I don't play redraft, so like I don't. I really couldn't even tell you like what the general format is. I'm gonna assume two wide receivers.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Like I think both plays are not bad. I'm terrible at making these shot calls. Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
So let me say this, Bob. I'm going to go Tet McMillan because here's the reason, and here's the reason why. He's just been the most, like, to me, he's got the safest floor, no doubt about it, right? Like, I mean, I know I'm getting probably 10 to 12 points. And last week we kind of see him kind of take a step out and give us one of the monster games, right? Like, we seen him deliver finally on something like that. So, like, I'm just going to keep riding the momentum. Like, I know QJ was down there with that injury. I know that the Chargers have been a little bit more inconsistent. So, I mean, if it's me, I think I got to start Tet McMillan. I mean, I just know what I'm going to get, and there's a possibility I could get more.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns last week. I think I would ride Tet. He's hot right now, and like you said, Quentin Johnson coming back from the injury. The only thing that you got to worry about is if Indianapolis somehow gets the lead, and Herbert's got to start chucking the ball over the yard. But again, I think that Quentin Johnson can end up being the odd man out if they have to run fast. Because if he's hampered at all by the injury, then yeah, let's just go with Tet, in my opinion.
Okay. So that's the answer there. We got Tet McMillan rocking that other spot for you, Lauren. And he also asks, if Josh Jacobs is out, should I be putting in JCM or Chuba Hubbard PPR? In ESPN is the format, like we said. So, yes, I would put in JCM. Look, I like Chuba Hubbard a lot, but I love what Rico Dwaddle's been doing. Now, I'm not saying Rico Dwaddle's going to take that job outright, but Carolina now has 2 good running backs that they could run. They could do what they want. He's coming off injury. Why would you not want to, you don't want to rush him back, right? Like that's the way I approach it. Let's keep him healthy. Rico's been doing solid for us. We'll keep, if it's even 60-40 Rico this week, I wouldn't be shocked or something like that, right? So I think you guys agree. Just go JCM there. Any difference in opinion?
Absolutely.
No, I think you're absolutely right. The thing I would even add is like, even if he's perfectly healthy, I can't imagine them doing much more than a 50-50 because Dowdle's just looked phenomenal. And
Mm-hmm.
why would you risk hampering a guy that you're paying all that money to when you've got a guy that you could just that is doing well and you could feed him the ball? I mean, I think at optimal you're going to see 50% of snaps for Hubbard, and JCM should be the workload.
Yeah, agreed. And Dave also added to his question, the question before this. Only
Yep.
other guy on the bench is Tez Johnson. I think
Eh.
I would stick with Kendrick Bourne at that point, right? Like, I mean, I
Yep.
know that Tez looked good, but it was like a long touchdown or bust for him. I think that Bourne has the opportunity to still have more reception upside. And Mac Jones seems to have eyes for him. We knew they had that connection in New England, and they kind of carry it over here. And I don't care. Quarterback feels comfortable with somebody. That is a big thing in my opinion. So that's the way I would stick there, Dave. I don't think I would make any more changes. We have Dylan asking, "What's up? What's up, Dylan?
What up, Dylan?
Redraft full PPR. Need receiver help. He's 2-4. He got an offer to move Swift or JCM. In return, he would get Quentin Johnston or Marvin Harrison Jr. Which running back does he move, and which wide receiver should he get?" So, going to ask you, Bob, if you were looking to move JCM or Swift right now, and then I'm almost positive it's probably redraft, right? Who would you rather get?
Yeah, he said redraft.
Yeah. So who would you rather get there? Quentin Johnston or Marvin Harrison Jr.? And which running back would you rather trade?
I think I'd rather trade Swift for Quentin Johnston. I think that the Bears are going to have to run Swift, and that is awesome. But I've also seen Swift just absolutely crap the bed.
Yep.
And I don't know that, to get back on the Caleb Williams hype, I don't know if he's got the ego to just let Swift be the leader. So he's gonna
yeah.
is gonna get fiery on the inside, and his pain and needles are gonna shoot lightning bolts in his heart. So it's like legitimately, like I don't think that it always leans into that, doesn't it? But I think I would trade Swift because I don't trust him as much, and I would just go for Johnson. I don't. If Brisket is going to be the quarterback the rest of the year, then maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. is a play, but I don't trust that situation either. So I'm like, stay away from Arizona, stay away from Chicago. So you take your little Chicago player, get you an LA Chargers player, and there you go.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Bob. And look, we know the Bears offense too. There's a lot of mouths to feed there. It can be hit or miss. I know Teixeira brought about Manungai. He is a guy that's capable, right? So, I mean, he's going to be there kind of looking over Swift's shoulder. I'm not saying he's going to replace him this year or anything like that, but there still is a guy there that looks pretty capable. And JCM, look, Washington is JCM's world right now in the backfield, and we're just living in it, right? Like, that's the way it is.
Yep.
Now, I will say this. I agree with Bob. I would trade Swift for Quentin Johnson. But you have to be careful here, Dylan, for one reason. The NFL trade deadline will be coming up, right? And I'm not saying – it's going to happen for sure. But you got a team like Chicago, a team like Washington that are winning games. Are they inclined to maybe add a running back? And then if that happens, that could do something. Or you look at, a team like LA, does something happen with their receiving core? It's just there's a lot of ifs there, right? Like he's getting the receivers, so I guess the running backs won't matter. But you could maybe.
I heard a hot rumor coming out of Chi-Town that they're eyeballing Breece Hall in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. They like to make splashy moves and things like that. But yeah, if I'm moving running back, I think now's the time. Dylan. And do you agree to share it would be Swift for Quentin Johnson for you as well?
Absolute clean sweep coming for me. I'm avoiding, like what Bob said, Cardinals offense because of the question marks and variances. I know Quentin Johnson is swiftly banged up right now, but go that route with you guys.
Okay, so that's the answer for that one, Dylan. Now he has a start sit question. Full PPR, pick one. Kendrick Bourne, Mason Taylor. What do we have here? Is
Bam Knight.
Bam Knight. Yeah, Bam Knight, Tyler Algier. So, okay, that's the first part of the question. Pick one for a start this week. Who you going with out of that group, Bob, if you had to pick one?
I think I'm going to go with Bourne. Mason Taylor might be the only target in New York, but I don't know if I trust the target, like whatever. So, and Bam
Target
Knight,
the target
the
provider.
provider, yeah, like right now. And I mean, I'm a Fields guy. Like I was
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
find the word and it's just not coming out of my mouth. But yeah, I don't know if Bam Knight's even the guy. Sure, I'd like to believe so, but we don't know. It could end up being Carter again this week. And Algier is just he's a good second fiddle to Bijan, but he's second fiddle, and I think Bourne's just going to get targeted like ain't nobody's business. Um, so yeah, I'm going Bourne.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Bourne too, because here's the thing. Like when I'm down kind of at the bottom of the barrel looking at some of these players sometimes, right? Like I'm just looking at the guy who can get me at least maybe around 10 points and still has a ceiling opportunity, right? Kendrick
Mhm.
Bourne is that guy for me. Any difference there to share between me and Bob?
Not at all. I'm starting Bourne out of that group.
Yeah, okay. So Teixeira's on par. Now, Teixeira, second part of the question, I'm going to start with you. It's
Yep.
rank these quarterbacks, Dylan asks. We have Justin Fields versus the Carolina Panthers. Jacoby Brisket, as Bob likes to say, going up against the Green Bay Packers. Carson Wentz going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Bryce Young going up against the New York Jets. Sam Darnold going up against the Houston Texans. And we have Mac Jones going up against the Atlanta Falcons, and Spencer Rattler. And he says at New Orleans, but they are playing. Yeah. So who do you have this week? Who do you have in the one spot for you, Teixeira? We'll just go around the horn. You give us the one, and then I'll go for Bob for the two, and I'll go for me for the three.
That's perfect.
We'll keep going around.
Yeah, I'm going Sam Darnold at Houston for the Monday Night Miracle. I think he's going to hyper target JSN and AJ Barner, and I think that's going to be a throwing the ball fest. And I like the over under in that game.
Okay, so Teixeira's putting Sam Darnold at one. I personally agree. That's who I would have went with there in the one spot as well. Bob, who are you putting at the one spot there in that, or the two spot in the quarterback rankings behind Sam Darnold?
I just talked about how I'm staying away from Arizona, but Jacoby Brissett, I think, is the way I'm going to go here. I really don't like many of these options here, and Darnold was the guy I threw my hands up for. So, like, legitimately, yeah, no, let's go Bryce Young versus the Jets. I'll take Bryce Young versus the Jets.
Okay, Bryce Young versus the Jets. So if it's my turn for the three spot, Dylan, I'm going to put Mac Jones in against the Atlanta Falcons. Look, I know it's tough, but it's just like the old saying goes, and Kyle Shanahan we trust. I mean, I know some of these guys are bottom of the barrel. I think that they can still do enough, probably get you maybe around that 18 range. I could see Mac Jones still being able to do that this week. So give me Mac 10 at 3. Teixeira, who do you got at 4?
I'm going to go with Justin Fields versus Carolina.
Okay. Justin Fields versus Carolina. Who do you have in the 5 spot, Bob? Is it Jacoby Brisket? Because he's still on.
Now I got to take Brisket.
I got one for
sure.
you.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Well, first off, I mean, like Rattler's playing in Chicago. We're worried about the weather. Wentz is playing against Philadelphia. Their secondary is still pretty good. Yeah, I'm worried about Mac-10 getting ran over by what seems to be this new revamped Atlanta front seven or whatever. So, yeah, that's why I was going to go Brisket to begin with. And I'm so scared for Fields right now. I hope that he fixes himself somewhere along the lines, but that's doubtful. It's the Jets poison. And the Bears. That poor guy, he's got run through the Bears, and like his only shot was the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they just stuck it right in his poop hole. Yeah.
So I'll say this. Okay. So what is left? We have basically
Wentz, Rattler, and
yeah, just them two, I think. Wentz and Rattler. Yeah. So I would take Rattler, and then I will make Wentz last, because
yeah, I'm in the same boat with you.
One thing about Rattler is, I mean, he isn't great, but he can hit a little bit of them check downy type things. He does have a couple guys that are capable, and the matchup is better. And I'll just play the matchup at that point. But that was a great question, Dylan. We have JR Smile asking, would you put Mason in flex over McConkey or Tet? So would you put Jordan Mason in the flex this week over Ladd McConkey or Tet McMillan? Bob, hey, what are you going to do? I know this one kills you. I can see you're agonizing over it.
My gut says no, but I play in 95 to 100% full PPR leagues. So, like, Mason's not going to get PPR points. So, if your two running backs are stud enough that you can't start Mason in them two spots, I think McConkey and Tet are in line to get a lot of targets this week. So I can't do it.
Okay, so he's going to stick with Tet and he's going to stick with Ladd. How about you, Teixeira?
No, I'm gonna stick with Tet and McConkey.
Okay, so he's going to stick with Tet McConkey as well. So am I. I'm not going to make any changes either. So it was a clean sweep there. And that's nice when that happens because we're on the same page for JR style.
Hell yeah.
We have Allure's Domain asking, by the way, my running back lineup is Bijan, Jacobs, Javonte. Got Javonte off waivers early on. Well, that was a great move for you, man. That was really
Humble brag. Humble bragger.
Yeah, it was a humble
job.
Good job. That's how you snipe players off the waiver wire. So great job, Allure's Domain. And we have J2 Nice asking, start Sutton at flex over Jordan Mason. Man, we're getting a lot of Jordan Mason tonight, Bob. So
Yeah, I love the attention for Mason.
Would you-
My guy.
would you start Cortland Sutton over Jordan Mason, Bob, or are you going to make the switch?
We're trying to recall, like, my brain sucks. I can tell you that much right now.
What do you need me to refresh
No.
you?
The Giants, man, I don't know. Like, Sutton didn't do super well last game, right? Am I making my brain, like, am I losing my mind? Because it was the London game. Yeah, no, go ahead and start Sutton. I think I just, again, if it's PPR, if like Mason is not able to cram into your starting, running backs, then I'm cool with putting Sutton in the flex.
Okay, so I'm going to stick with Sutton too, Bob, and that is tough for me to say, but I mean, hey, it is a wide receiver in the flex that to me is a little bit more appetizing than a running back. And like again, like I said, I like Jordan Mason, I like Minnesota. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I just think right now there's something off there, and I think they'll find themselves again at some point. But I want to see it first, so I think I'll stick with Sutton. I don't know how you feel, Teixeira. Any difference in opinion? I know you're the Minnesota guy. Do you believe in putting Mason in over Sutton? Because me and Bob are going to stick with Cortland there.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Mason, but logic dictates if it's even half PPR, I'm leaning Sutton over Mason because I like that philosophy of having a wide receiver in my flex over a running back. Unless if that running back is like a pass catching back, notably, I kind of tend to lean to just stick with wide receivers or tight ends. So Bo Nix and Sutton can get back on course after that London mess and makes their decision look good.
Okay, so we have Dave asking, so what I was considering, or I was thinking definitely Vidal over Kamara as running back 2. That's why I asked for Stack. Do we agree that Vidal gets the nod over Kamara? So what would you guys think? Would you start Kamani Vidal over Alvin Kamara? I mean, at one time that would have been a tough thing to say, but it hasn't been all sunshine and roses for Kamara this season. Bob, would you pull the plug and start Kamani Vidal over Kamara this week?
That is a hard pull for me. Like, I don't know if I trust that situation because it can. I mean, is Haskins hurt? Does anybody know if Haskins is out of the game?
Yeah,
it could
he's questionable with a chest injury.
All right, then let's go with Vidal. I don't know if I trust Kamara right now. He seems to be banged up a little bit and maybe like putting it into idle. So yeah, I'll go with Vidal.
Yeah, I agree because one thing we kept hearing was maybe Rattler will check down a lot to Kamara. Like we kept hearing that this offseason, right? That was like the narrative, and it just really hasn't been there as much or near as what people thought or were hoping for. So I think I'd take Vidal there too, just for more upside, especially with Haskins being kind of on the questionable side of the injury fence. I don't know how you feel, to share any difference there with you.
Yeah, as I was digging through the reports this weekend, I came up with the Haskins falling on the injury report, and that's what sways me here, starting Vidal over Kamara. I want the healthier back. He's coming off a big game, and he's got that momentum going. I don't know how well he's going to do against that Colts defense. Nonetheless, I think that the guy that's got momentum versus the guy that's just very limping around offense.
Okay, so we have another question here, trade question from RGQ. Would you be okay with trading QJ for JCM, or would you try to offer Keenan? So would you be okay with trading either Keenan Allen or QJ for JCM, Bob. Let's just say, I know what your answer would be in Dynasty. You'd say, no, I'm going to keep Quentin Johnston, the receiver. I'm almost certain of that. Assuming this is redraft, would you be okay with trading Quentin Johnston or Keenan Allen for Bill at this point?
Maybe a few things here. So number one, I got to know what my running back room looks like. Context is really going to be important. If I'm really dire need of an RB and I'm stacked at wide receiver, go for it. Bingo, bango. Either player, in all honesty. But I would obviously start with Keenan. I think I like QJ's upside more than Keenan Allen's floor. So if I'm going to offer either one, that's how I would roll. But it needs to be in that situation. If QJ is my wide receiver 2, 3, 4, right? Like 2 or 3 right now, and and I'm gonna be starting JCM in a flex or something, then yeah, I'm gonna stick with QJ if I said that all right.
Okay, so yeah, and I like what you said, Bob. So like basically what you're saying is, look, if you are running back needy, you don't mind making the move. But if you
Right.
really, you just don't trade to make trades. Sometimes if you need some depth or some help, I don't mind that either. Because to be honest with you, RGQ, this is an even trade any way you cut it in a redraft league. Like to me, it's not like it's lopsided or anything. It's just based off need. So like I don't mind trading either Keenan Allen or Quentin Johnston for Bill if you need a running back that bad. Just make sure you ain't cutting yourself thin at receiver, like Bob said. And I don't think, Teixeira, you don't have anything to add to that as well.
Nope, not at all. Just I'd preference Keenan Allen before Huge that I would move.
Okay. All right.
Ironically, running backs seem to be staying healthier, other than like Bucky.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else off the top of my head. I mean, now we're not getting great performances like King Henry and Saquon have not done what we've expected, but their health is still there. We got a lot of wide receiver problems at health. So
yeah.
Okay, so we also have Allure chiming in here, said, you guys aren't concerned about the problem with Sauce Gardner on Ted McMillan. No, I'm really not. The Jets are a bad football team right now, man. And like any way you cut it, Sauce Gardner, the name is flashy, no doubt about it, but like he don't scare me like a Patrick Surtain scares me, right? Like I'm not going to pull Ted McMillan out, and I'll take my chances. He's been a consistently good player all year long. We have Bryce Long asking here, Travion Henderson or Travis Hunter, or wait for Monday night to start Buka or Tez Johnson. So, okay, Teixeira, I'll start with you on this one. You have Trev or I guess this is, I'm guessing Hunter Henry, I'm guessing that is, or Travis Hunter. I don't know. I think we'll just say Travis Hunter. I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
So Travion Henderson, Travis Hunter, or are you going to wait till Monday night in hopes that Ibuka is healthy and is a full go for sure? Or are you going to try to, if that don't work, start Tez Johnson? Would you risk it, or are you going to play one of them other two guys?
In a perfect world, I would say Henderson. No doubt it's Mike Vrabel's world over there in New England. That's not the case. So I'm going to personally risk it and try to start Ibuka or Tez on Monday night and just take the floor. Tez, if Ibuka is not able to go, just because of what's going on. Well, what's going on? Vrabel's just holding the leash a little too tight on Henderson and giving Sir Fumbles a lot the loyalty check. And because of that, I'm going to have someone going that has potential to get in the end zone. And I know the matchups juice Tennessee with Henderson, but again, I'm out on Hunter on offense. I wouldn't start him there. And just because of the hampering of Henderson, I'm going to go take the Monday Night Miracle.
Okay, so he did clarify Travis Hunter. So Teixeira's going to risk it. Bryce, he's going to go for either Emeka Ibuka or Tez Johnson, depending on what happens on the injury front. How about you, Bob? Are you bold enough to risk it, or are you going to go Travion Henderson or Travis Hunter?
Hunter would be my last option. So I would either go with Travis Hunter or like if you can't, sorry, I would go with Travion Henderson.
I was going to say,
no sooner than I buried him, I'm like lifting him from the grave. Now, legitimately, I think that I would hopefully hopefully he got the opportunity. I was trying to look and see what game times were, but it looks like the Patriots are going to start at noon, so you're really not going to get the flexibility I was hoping for. Um, I think I'd just start Travion Henderson. At a certain point, he's going to have to get points. I don't know that Buka's going to play, and Tez Johnson could be awesome, but he could also get you. It's one of those ones where you could get 12.7 or 2.7. And I said 27 earlier, 2.7. But yeah, I don't know if he'll ever get 27 points, but
So I think I'm going to go and risk it here. I think that I'm going to try to see what happens. Like, I mean, what do you got to lose? Because I'm like Bob. I don't think you're missing out much on Hunter. Henderson's a guy that I believe in him long term from a dynasty standpoint. But until Mike Vrabel proves that he wants to play him, I mean, what more can Ramondre Stevenson do wrong throughout the season to give him more of an opportunity? So I'll just take my chances. And look, we know that Tampa Bay offense is explosive, high scoring. Even if Ibuka don't play, I don't think you're going to get skunked if Tez Johnson's out there. I mean, you might get a couple points. So, but I think I go for it and see what happens. I don't think you're missing out on much either way. We have the Smitty asking, my wide receiver and tight ends are Nico, Rice, DK, Kittle. Keep two players, Jennings, Fannin, or Waller. So you got to keep two of them guys. Right now, I'll tell you where I'm at. I'm keeping Fannin and Waller. Like, I mean, this 49ers passing attack with these wide receivers, it can be so hit or miss. Jawan Jennings is like, look, he's what, one big game a year, something like that. Like, it just isn't worth it to me. Like, we see Kendrick Bourne kind of stepping in that role a little bit as well. I mean, Ayuk, we'll see what happens there. Who knows? McCaffrey's still the heartbeat of that offense, and Kittle will be coming back. So, yeah, I'm keeping Fannin and Waller. Any difference in opinion from you there, Teixeira?
I'm right there lockstep with you, Tej. I'm running the same route. I've never been a Juwan Jennings fan. I've never been like him in that offense, that system, and I think you nailed it on the head. He's a one trick pony. He gets that one big game, and everyone gets all like, "Ooh, we not over," and glazed in the eyes about, and it never hits me.
Okay, so what do you think, Bob? Are you any difference in opinion there? Are you going to keep Fannin and Waller?
I might go Jennings and Fannin, but Fannin first. And I just I don't know. I like Waller, I really do. But what I'm looking at, and I'm just, you know how I am, I get a little next level sometimes. So
Locked in.
you may never like how many tight ends you start? Is it tight end premium? Like is the wide receiver like you may never start either any of those players. Now Fannin is going to have more trade value, but like you could possibly, I don't know. No, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like Fannin for sure. Other than that, pick your poison. Just go with the other two guys said. Waller.
But you are right. I mean, you got to watch getting too heavy at one position. Maybe you could trade one of those guys, right? Like, I mean, it's worth exploring. Like, if you could maybe upgrade a Jennings if someone needs a tight end into a little bit better of a receiving option, right? So that's an option out there for you, Smitty. But we have the tug. The
tug drug fishing.
Tug fishing. I love some of these names.
I love these names. They're great half the time.
Yeah, they are. And I'm sorry if I mispronounce them or missay them, but I really do enjoy them. So we have Chris Moore or Tezzy asks here to Shara.
I'm going Chris Moore. He's going to have the higher snap percentage. It's going to be a higher over-under in this game for scoring. And I think Jaden Daniels is going to, like in the Curtis Samuel role, if you remember that for the Washington. I think he's going to be really across the line of scrimmage, real close, gadget, utilitarian. And I think that will serve to be more beneficial. Whereas Tez, he's more of a special teamers guy. I think he's just going to be used as the big, deep threat like we saw last week. And if that doesn't hit, I think what Bob was alluding to is more for him and closer to a goose than a golden.
Okay, so I agree with you. And look, there is going to be more opportunity there. And you know your Lions, Teixeira. So, I mean, you must be a little bit feeling good about what they have back there to stop someone like a Tez Johnson. It probably isn't asking too much, but you know that what you have on defense. So, any difference in opinion, Bob? You going Tez or you going Chris Moore?
I actually have a question for Tug Drug. Is this one team, dog? Because you got like 3 questions on the same one. Because if it's one team, I'm going to go with Pittman and Tet. and not start Chris Moore or Tez. But if it's different
True.
teams, then I'm going to go Chris Moore and Tet. I hate sitting Pittman because I think that he could have a good game, but I think I like Tet more than Pittman. And then to go ahead and knock out the other question, I think I'm just going to go ahead and start Stevenson because I think they'll just run the ball more.
Okay, so Bob skipped ahead right through everything.
Yeah,
he's like hammered all three of them, man. Like,
okay, so all right. But if it was different, you're going Chris Moore, you're saying, Bob.
Yeah, Chris Moore, yeah.
Okay. So we have Pittman or Tet. Bob says Tet. I don't know how you feel about this one, to share. This is very close, and it could just be matchup related. Where are you going?
It's on the hanger right now. I don't have TJ's jacket with me, but I'm going with Michael Pittman because Josh Downs is out for this game on Sunday against the Chargers, and Chargers have a couple notable injuries in the secondary. And I think Indiana Jones here is going to light up the bolts, no pun intended. And I see more guaranteed chance that Pittman hits the end zone this weekend than Tet does. So in that respect, I'll Pittman.
Okay, I'm going to go Pittman as well. And for a lot of reasons,
Warren is going to eat in this game.
Oh, so will Michael. You know, what is Michael Pittman's number? 11? I could see him finishing wide receiver 11 this year. That's how.
Ooh.
I was like, this week, who cares then? Go Ted. Oh, now I got you. Okay.
That would have flew over your head, Bob. But Tug Drug is asking final one. Bob already answered. He said Stevenson. I think you agreed to share. I think that's pretty clear. Guy.
He's got the loyalty check. I mean, Jesus, what do we got to do to field?
I can't trust Spears' knees. Like, are you serious? Like, I don't care how good he looks one week. They're rubbing, his bones are rubbing together.
He's got J.K. Dobbins' knees.
Yeah, it's definitely bad. But let me just say this: the chat lit up like a pinball machine.
Love it.
It still will be open if anybody would like to add anything. We're here for you guys 100%. But let's hurry up. We're going to speed through this. We're going 2-minute drill right now for the starts and sits. To share going back and visiting your quarterback, who did you have again? Refresh me, because I couldn't even remember how fast we were going.
I had Jaden Daniels. Bob wasn't here for, but I wanted to say that I'm just going to think that he washes that bad taste of that bungle he had in the late night in that Monday night game, and he's going to be able to lock in against that Dallas defense, and his rushing floor is going to propel him into a quarterback one finish. Not one overall in that realm, and he's going to be the quarterback you want to start this week.
For sure. So we'll go fast, Bob. Do you have a quarterback you want to start for us here in week 7?
So I legitimately went over to Cher's list that he puts on Facebook or whatever, and I'm like, where in God's green earth is Baker Mayfield? Are you serious? Brian out. I don't care how much of a loyal Lions fan you are. Baker's a stud.
He got me.
You can't not start Baker Mayfield.
No one disrespects Baker in front of Bob. It don't matter who.
That's right.
Slim especially. He'd really give it to Slim if Slim went down that route. Now, I know Slim likes Baker, so we don't have to worry about that. But Bob says go with Baker, no doubt, this week. I got one for you guys. The guy coming off his greatest career win last week in Washington. Give me Caleb Williams going up against the lowly New Orleans Saints. Going up against the lowly New Orleans Saints this week. I think that I'm a big believer in momentum. You guys know that. I do think that this is good for this team. It's good for this quarterback. Now, Bob, you talk about culture. You said about how New England didn't let down last week when they played the Saints. We'll see how the Bears do this week. So we'll see. If they turn the corner, you're going to have to at least give them a little bit of credit here.
Okay.
I hope that wet ball goes flying out of his hands and he looks like a fool as the defense scoops it up and takes it in for a 6-yard touchdown.
I love it. I love getting you guys going. But we have another question here in the chat. Galaxy Pickers asked, starters this week are JT, Judkins, Lamb, London, Flex Adunze. I have JCM on my bench. I was rethinking starting JCM over Adunze in the flex because of the Dallas matchup. What do you guys think? Now, this is very important because this is a bad weather game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do like Caleb Williams because I think he can still give you enough rushing upside and things like that to do enough to at least give you a good performance and a solid performance. But this could be a tough day for these pass catchers. Would you guys play JCM over Rome at this point?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Yep.
you're going JCM, Bob?
Bill.
Bill Nye, the science guy. So yes, I do agree. This look, we talked about it. Uncle Rico's pair of socks danced his way right through the Dallas Cowboys defense last week, and I could see more this week coming. And look, it's a copycat league. Everyone knows that they got the ball run down their throat. I could see the Commanders trying to do a little bit of the same. Could see them dump offs. A lot of ceiling. To me, there's a lot of ceiling this week for Bill. So that's where I would go as well. And it's a lot of it's weather related. That's the bad thing too. Weather does play a little bit of a factor in that choice. But let's go into some running back starts here. I'm going to come over here to you to share running back. You're starting here for week 7. Let's get into the running back pool.
Still got my sign. I'm starting Quinshon Judkins in that bad weather against those sad Dolphins, guaranteeing lock, stock, and barrel. Touchdown for Judkins. Fire him in your lineups. No questions asked. Sit Dylan Gabriel down. Give Judkins the ball.
I love it. That's exactly what I say. I love the Quinshon Judkins call. I should have sent Mike one of them things in the mail. It said Quinshon Judkins no matter what is what I should have said.
No matter what.
That's right. Quinshon Judkins no matter what. So, Bob, you got a running back for me this week, my big friend.
I can't get away from Jonathan Taylor, but I was actually going to talk about the Rico Dowdle too. So, like, I think that I think a lot of people are scared of Chuba coming back, but it's like I said earlier, I don't think that he'll get more than 50% of the carries, even if he does. And right now, Dowdle looks like he can run through 2 brick walls. He looks like Scattaboo. No, I'm not.
No, he's not Juggernaut yet.
Yeah, he's not quite Juggernaut, but
he's not the crayon eater, as Mike Shanuti likes to call him.
Yeah. I will say this on behalf of the network. I think we're all in agreement here that we're more confident in Rico Dowdle this week than we are Chuba Hubbard.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Good statement. So my running back, I'm going to start. It's the running back Terminator. It's a guy that has so many pieces of metal on him. He can't walk through plain metal detectors or stadium metal detectors. It's J.K. Dobbins going up against the New York Giants this week. Look, I mean, this Broncos offense, everyone was hoping for this high-flying attack. You know, we're still seeing Sean Payton run the ball, play defense, run the ball, play defense. That's something he really believes in. He'll sprinkle in some nice, beautiful passes here and there, but I do like JK this week. Let's go back to the chat board here. We have JD Abs asking PPR, half-point tight end premium. Love the context. Thank you for that, my friend.
Thank you.
Stick with Tucker Kraft against Arizona or pivot to Zach Ertz against Dallas with the good matchup in the Debo and Terry McLaurin injuries. So, Bob, I know this one will tug at your heartstrings because you love Tucker Kraft singles, but he has also got Zach Ertz sitting there going up against the lowly Dallas Cowboys defense with those wide receiver injuries. Where are you at on this? Does that make it move any direction for you going more Zach Ertz, or would you still stick with Tucker Kraft singles?
I'm still going to stick with Kraft. I think that he's going to see more targets. Ertz is probably, he might get 2 catches and one of them might be for a score, but I think Kraft's more in line for volume.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I mean, we know one thing about Ertz. Like, if he's going to give you a really good fantasy performance, it's going to have to be touchdown related. And this is half-point tight end premium. So I'm like you, Bob. Give me Tucker Kraft and the confidence that he will get those catches with the possibility of the touchdown still being there heavily because we know Love loves them in the red zone. So to share any difference there, because this is very close. I mean, you could make a case.
Mm-hmm. I can make a case, and this is pretty close, but what's getting me that little leaning on the other side and back under the Kraft singles, Tucker Kraft side of it, is that Zach Ertz is nursing a shoulder and a calf injury still from the Monday night game, and he's listed as questionable. So keep an eye on the injury report, see if he's good to go or not, because if he isn't, makes the decision all the more easier. But if he does, just a little bit more food for thought of how he might be against the Dallas Cowboy day.
He's really close to my age, though, so yeah, he's going to have those hurts.
Good point. But we're going to hop back down here to big culture. Got another question here. JD Abs also asked PPR, stick with Olave or risk Ibuka with Cam Johnson as the contingency. So are you going to stick with Olave or are you going to risk it? I do think that Olave is a pretty decent option, but we did talk. This is going to be some bad weather out there in Beartown.
No one is doing less with more targets than Olave is. Full PPR or whatever, though, you might get lucky, but the weather spooks the crap out of me. It's supposed to be really bad. I think I would risk it.
Okay, so
That's just
Bob's going to risk it. He's going to risk Ibuka or Cam Johnson instead of sticking with Chris Olave. To share any difference from opinion with you there?
Not at all. I'm previous question before. I want that ceiling of Buka if he does play, and I'd be willing to with Cam Johnson as that emergency. Olave is just empty calories. It's nice that he's getting targets and whatnot, but just not translating for my personal teams that I have him on.
I mean, 100%, but there's been double-digit points for Chris Olave every game. So, I mean, like, I'm not saying he's lit the world on fire, but he hasn't played horribly bad. I think I stick with Olave. I'm going to differ from you guys here a little bit, just because. Look, I mean, if I know that I know the weather's bad, but the fact that he's been able to get me that, I still feel comfortable enough. Like if my team, if you need points, I don't mind doing what you guys are doing. Like if I'm looking at if I have bye weeks, injuries, and all kinds of stuff going on, it's like, okay, I need a ceiling play, no doubt. But like if I feel confident about my lineup in other places, I think I will stick with Olave. But it just depends on how confident I am in my matchup. What's my team look like with buys and injuries? If I need the points, I would risk it. But if I don't, if I feel like I could win this game, if Olave drops a 10 ball and that's good enough to hang on, I just feel better about that than Cam Johnson. And I mean, it just sucks, but it's Monday Night Football. It's the worst. And they're starting doing them 2 Monday night games now.
I hate
Makes it even harder.
I hate it.
Makes it even Yep, makes it even harder. It's ridiculous. But we have Tug Drug asking here, I just traded Tet for Debo. I have Jaden at QB. Good move. So he traded Tet for Debo. We know he's coming off the injury, but does that make sense to you with the quarterback there being Jaden Daniels, or do you think that you would have stuck with the Tet side to share?
I would have stuck with the Tet side. That heel injury for Debo really concerns me because he's got a past with injuries that's held him out for a while, and with his explosiveness and his acceleration, he needs that part of his body to get through those low A dot around the line of scrimmage kind of plays. And I mean, I just at this point in the season, I like what I've seen out of Tet more than I like what I've seen out of Debo. Now, don't get me wrong, Debo's had a good season; he's been doing well. But rest of season, I like what Tet could bring to my roster as far as fantasy performances going forward than I do Debo.
Yeah, definitely, man. And like I said, it's the injuries that scare me. Like if you're comparing apples to apples in a redraft league, I don't think it's bad at all. If I knew that if you guaranteed me Debo was healthy, if you guaranteed me that, I don't think that it's bad at all. I just kind of see it a little bit more lateral, maybe. And you're kind of giving up the guy that's got a lot of potential, and he does stay healthy right now, right? So like, it's always mysteries though with fantasy football. I mean, you can make a case either way, Bob. I mean, do you agree with me on a lot what we're saying about this Debo Tet trade that he made?
Yeah, I mean, he's further up the board or whatever. He says his wide receivers now are Debo, Pittman, Rice, and Ladd, and he says it's going to be start 2, 1 flex. So he's probably going to start Rice and Pittman once Rice gets lined up, or Ladd. I mean, I don't know that Debo even touches my lineup. I think I would rather have had Tet, but I looking at it quickly, I don't know how bye weeks line up. So
Yeah.
if Debo's bye week, helps you out there, then sure, whatever. I play Dynasty almost exclusively. So like as soon as I seen it, I'm like, I wanted to throw the computer and be like, dude, it's awful. But like obviously he's probably talking about redraft here. So you're right, it's a lateral move. But I don't even know that either. I don't think Debo would have ever touched my lineup or will touch my lineup with those 3 guys. Tet may have if I needed like a big swing or something like that.
Yeah, but he definitely has a good wide receiver core. It was done well, nicely built. Tug, good wide receivers. JD Abs, appreciate the insight, guys. Great in-depth content. Got a fan. We really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Love it.
You guys,
love you.
Yeah, you guys are what make this show what it is. We appreciate the engagement. Every question's good. There's no such thing as a bad question. We appreciate it. And, that's what we're trying to do is help many people as win as we can and talk about the love of the game that we all love, fantasy football and football. But as we await more questions coming in here,
We got one more here. It's the 0.5 PPR Marva Breach Hall from top 5K Wall.
Bob,
look at he's Professor X over. He's got the
Bob calling an audible. I like it. Okay, so we have another question, and you are right, Bob. Top 5 KWA11 half point PPR Marv or Breece Hall this week. So it is half point PPR Teixeira. Does this favor the running back in your eyes? As Bob said, though, Jacoby Brisket does have in Arizona looking like they've better than they've been all season, really, or at least just as good. Who are you going with there in that scenario?
Don't burn me at the stake here on the network, but I'm gonna go rolling with the dice roll of the Jets offense than I am the Cardinals offense. I'll take what I've seen and know I can get out of Breece Hall. He's my guy. He's my ride or die. I'm going to stick with him to the end, and I think that I see him getting more into the end zone than a Marv Harrison. That Packers pass defense, don't play around. You don't mess around with that Pack defense.
Yeah, and they did feel confident enough to let Alexander go and Wiz's Baltimore Ravens pick. But that'll be something for another time. So, okay, Bob.
Poor Wiz.
I'm gonna go Breece Hall here too, and we did get another question. So,
thank you, Bob. Thank you. I'm going Breece Hall as well. I think that there is still a lot of ceiling there, and look, you're relying on him to be a better player or one of your best players. He's going up against a team where he has to do something this week, right? He has to. The Jets need him to as well. Tug Drug asks, Waller or Otten this week? Give me Darren Waller. I mean, I'm not pulling Waller out of my lineup until he stops scoring touchdowns. I don't care what the matchup looks like. I don't care how many injuries there are in Tampa Bay. I don't care. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, we see Darren Waller in the red zone. There's two things that Miami can do. They can throw it to HN, run it, or they can throw it to the tight end in the red zone. I'm going Darren Waller.
Do we trust Tua to roll the ball in 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts up in this weekend?
I don't care. I got to go. I mean, we've seen touchdown.
I want to see Waller.
I can't. What is Kate? What has Cade Otton done though? That's been so.
That is a very valid point.
You know
too,
what I mean? Like
because if any of these Buccaneers wide receivers come back healthy, Otton is completely irrelevant. There's so many variables and question marks here right now as this question comes in. And I think I'm still going Waller, as much as I hate to say it, but your point trumps it. Is like, what has Otton done for me or for anyone lately? Like, it's just, I'd rather take the shot on my left-handed quarterback at Tua, hucking and chucking and trying to find Waller in there for the
So I'll play devil's advocate here and go Otton, because like I don't trust the left-handed loser in the wind in Cleveland, and I think that Quinshawn's going to run all over that team. I don't know how many times they're actually going to touch the ball, and he can't get the ball far enough down the field in 50-mile-an-hour winds to get to Waller. Waller's more of a seam stretcher. Kelsey had over 70-something yards against the Lions last week, and Otton's probably going to be beaten in that game. So guess what? Like, I don't care. Like, I would hope you'd have better options, but I'd take Otton. I'll play devil's advocate.
Yeah, and like my thing is though, like like you said though, is Cleveland get way up? That's fine. Waller's tight end 19. He's played 3 games. Otton's tight end 31. He's played all season. So like that's the only difference for me. That's where I'm at.
Is he in the Pitts tier level?
Oh, Pitts is still worse than Otton.
I love it, Bob. I love it. So we have 2 Wallers, 1 Otton on that one, Tug Drug. Andrew asks, Rome or Rashee Rice this week? And I'm so glad that someone brought up.
Test your loyalty, T. Test your loyalty.
He is back. So, yes, I am going to play Rashee Rice this week. I am. I'm going to go with him over Rome Odunze. Look, I know that he's just coming back, but I do believe that he's ready to go. It seems like he's pretty focused on getting back. I see him training a lot, getting prepared. I know it's still the NFL, but I would normally start Rome, no doubt, this week, but we did talk about the weather issues in Chicago as well. And I mean, like Bob said, they had success running the football. I hope they stick with it. We'll see if they do or if they don't. But we know that Patrick Mahomes loves Rashee Rice. And I think that I'm willing to risk it and see what happens. I don't know how you feel, Bob. Any difference in opinion there?
No, I think he loves a middle of the field weapon, and Rasheed Rice is just the next guy in line. So I would go Rasheed Rice, and I don't trust that. The Bears are the Bears, number one, and they need to run the ball to be successful, and that's not going to involve Rome.
And I've always agreed with that point. I think you nailed it. So to share, is it a clean sweep for Rasheed Rice here?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was about a week or so now ago. I sent you guys that GIF of the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet and with the Rasheed Rice face just dropping in it. Like, I practice what I preach. This is what we culminated up to this point. This is the moment we've all been waiting for all season. And I think if this game holds true to what Bob was talking about earlier, and the Vegas Raiders punch them in the mouth a little bit and make this a hell of a game for the Chiefs to try to ride it out and get a win, they're going to need Rasheed Rice on his best game and to get him be that X factor to win.
I agree. And we got a great question here from Never Ender. What do you all think about K9 and Sharp's long-term outlook over the rest of the season? Look, it's not good, man. Like, I mean, if you listen to like the podcasting network where we've done a lot of shows, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't here because they get their stuff on YouTube, right? But like, we've done a lot of shows talking about Kenneth Walker from a dynasty perspective. We're like, sell, sell, sell. Charbonnet just looks like, for whatever reason, looks like he's got cement in his shoes this year. He just doesn't look good either. This backfield just, and you looked at the tea leaves, you thought, yes, they're going to run the football. We heard a lot about this. I never trusted Kenneth Walker. I think he's gone after this season from Seattle. I really do. I think he goes somewhere else. Zach Charbonnet is a guy that could get propelled into the role longer term, but I just still don't love him either. And a lot of people didn't predict Sam Darnold to be throwing the ball as well as he has. And Seattle really is a team to be, as good and physical as they've been. And, these receivers have been making plays, and the tight ends that they have been making plays. So I just think you like with Kenneth Walker, I think what you're going to get is a lot of 10 to 12 point performances. Zach Charbonnet is just going to be a guy that you hope that can come in and maybe get a spot start here and there and probably give you another 10 or 12 point performance. It's unfortunate, but I'm looking to move them guys any way I can. Any difference in opinion there from you, Bob?
No run first team needs a running back worse than the Seattle Seahawks.
You're right. You're right.
The
way they're built. The way they're built.
I don't understand how these two guys have been absolutely pathetic this year, and it is what it is.
Slim.
Yeah,
Slim. I mean, well, the thing is they're still playing well. They're just not running the ball well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Thank goodness for Jackson Smith and Jigba. I keep saying JCM, so yeah, I got like whatever JSN. Yeah, so JSN. Thank goodness for him. And I put me on the shocked list for Sam Darnold, being as effective as he's been.
100%, especially changing teams like that. New system, new offense. To share anything you want to add, or you just on par with me?
I got some interesting tidbits to add. I think rest of the season, you guys should be seriously concerned about their opportunities and chances for volumes. I think they're going to cannibalize each other. It's going to really hamper and just eat away at each other's high ceiling for fantasy performances. Yeah, the team might be playing well. They might be doing good, but that won't translate necessarily because of them or by their running game. I think that if the Seattle, this is my prediction before the trade deadline, if Seattle keeps stacking these wins, they're playing well, they're going to be competitive coming to closer to the playoff time. I would love the Seattle Seahawks to take a chance and make a move for like a Breece Hall or Devon Achane if they can somehow get those running backs into that system. I think it'd be wheels up for that run game if they were to get those guys. And then if they have to package one or both of them to either the Jets or the Dolphins to get those players, I just think overall, by the end of the season, the Seattle Seahawks are going to have to take a cold splash of water to their face and realize they need to do something else at the running back position in order for them to take the next level to be serious contenders in the NFC. And for fantasy, I'm not relying on either of these guys. Like now in my running back, I'm flexing on my best if I absolutely have to. I'm not comfortable at all starting them in my lineups. But that's just me. That's where I'm sitting at the Seattle backfield.
Okay, so very quickly here, we have Steven asking Dak or Jaden, Waller or Mason, Taylor, Dobbs or Luke McCaffrey. So if it's me right now, honestly, I'm going to go Dak Prescott because he's going to be throwing the ball a million times. And we know that Washington's got a lack of targets. So that's one thing. Give me Dak Prescott. Waller or Mason Taylor, I'm going to go with probably lean Mason Taylor here because of the weather conditions. I feel a little bit better about him than I do Cade Otton. Dobbs or Luke McCaffrey? Weirdly enough, man, go ahead and give me Luke McCaffrey this week. I mean, this guy is low-key catching a big play here and there. And we know that Green Bay could be hit or miss. And we've seen Marcus Golden come on and look pretty good. So them are the three I'm going with. Teixeira, same opinion. Any different? Where are you at?
Yep, keeping it straight. You nailed it on the head. I'm all agreeance with you on all three.
Green check marks. Bob, how about you?
I think the only thing I will do is go Daniels. But I think that you're not wrong either way. I think Dak's going to be throwing it more. But if I'm going to go with McCaffrey, who I'm definitely going to go with, I want the little stack there. And Jaden could end up running the ball quite a bit too. So I don't think you can go wrong with either QB. But if I'm going to go McCaffrey, I'm going to go ahead and take Jaden for the stack. And Mason's Taylor. I don't trust that weather and Waller in the situation there.
Yep. Makes sense. I like both quarterbacks. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get a lot of points. And last question here, the Smitty, Luke McCaffrey, a good stash since the Commanders are having wide receiver issues. Do you know when Terry is back? From what I understand about Terry McLaurin is it's looking like it could be really soon, within like the next week to 3 weeks is what I'm hearing at worst. I would stash Luke McCaffrey if I needed wide receiver help. Like Bob said, this is one of the things. How bad do you need the help? If you need the help, good, like bad enough to take up a roster spot, I do think it's a wise stash. So I would go with that. So we got another question coming in here. Fighting solves everything.
Love the name.
What's the best way to set up roster? Do I stash one of CMC and Jonathan Taylor backups or get Marcus Golden? So he's a little bit worried about, stacking depth running backs, or do you go out and get a player like Golden who has a tremendous upside? Here's the way I'm approaching it, and I'll let Bob answer this next, and then Bob's going to cut out here. He's been generous with his time, but me and Teixeira will finish the show. But the way I answer it is fighting solves everything is I would take Golden because I don't play scared, right? Like, I mean, we're playing a game of like happenstance, like, what happens if this guy gets hurt? But like, you can't play that way. Try to get the guy that has the most points, the best point ability on my team. You could always try to make a trade if something happens to one of them running backs. Like, your options ain't completely thin to just pick up one guy off the wire. So I would definitely pick up Golden. Any difference in opinion from you two on that?
So I'm just going to interject.
Yeah, you go first, Bob. You got to get going.
If this is his lineup, then I'm not going to even bother to go get backup running backs because he's got Mason, Monty, and Rico that he could easily put in behind Quentin Johnston and JT and CMC.
No, that's Quinshon Junkins.
Quinshon Junkins. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just
is RB1 for you.
We've got both QJs. Like
right.
This guy's QJ. He should change his name to QJ's the Bomb or something. I don't know, whatever.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think that I'm cool with having Golden instead of bothering with wide receivers. And then to take one step up here, he says he was offered Brock Bowers for Rico and he took it. Yeah, you take Brock Bowers. I'm assuming this is not just if this is Dynasty, there's no way he got that deal. But if it is Dynasty, man, you just lit the world on fire because that'd be awesome to have. But I can't even fathom. So
even in redraft, though, that's a heck of a move. Definitely take Bowers. Oh, look, I like Rico Dwaddle, but I mean, we do know that Chuba's coming back at some point, and he just isn't going to supplant Chuba totally, right? Like, he's just the kind of guy you like to have around if you have running back issues. Maybe you hope Chuba gets hurt. Like, we don't wish injuries on people, but, some people really need the points, and you're like, okay, well, if he does get hurt, we have Rico Dwaddle, and that'll give me some points. But, yeah, take Brock Bowers there, and that's a really good roster. Fighting solves everything, and definitely I think these guys agree totally. Take Golden, add him to that wide receiver room. You're plenty deep at running back there. Don't worry about them other fellas like these guys said. Bob, you have to sign out. We appreciate you dropping in with us.
Yeah, no problem. I tell my wife I give about an hour and 20 minutes, and the clock's ticking.
Yeah, you're a good man, Bob.
Thanks for always appreciate your time, buddy. Thanks for hopping in. We'll see you next time.
All right, we'll see you.
See you, Bob.
Bye.
So he did say it is redrafts. Thanks for the help. No problem, man. Thank you for the question. We appreciate that, and we're here to help best we can. You really have a really good roster. You have a great chance to win if everyone stays healthy. let's hope that. Now, to share, we're going to have to speedboat through these starts. So I will let you go to the receivers because we got to the running backs. Receiver, you got to start this week. Who do you have?
I will say I am lock, stock, and barrel going with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think he's going to dominate that Houston defense. And on Monday night, you're looking for a miracle, looking in your lineups like, oh man, who do I got? I got Jackson Smith and Jigba. I feel like I'm going to win my matchup if I got him playing. I think that Sam Darnold's the apple of his eye right now. He's going to be hyper targeted. I can see him probably have a ceiling of like 26 point. No, what? No, we're hitting the 3-0, 30 points. Ceiling of 30 points this week and a floor of 20. I think he just blows up and explode on Monday night. I think the Seattle Seahawks keep rolling along, and because of the things I alluded to with the running game in Seattle, Sam Darnold's going to have to huck it and chuck it. He's going to look back there and be like, come on, guys, you can't do this for me, but I got JSN. I'm all cool.
Okay, so I love the call out there for him, man. You got to give him his props. And really, like we talked about, really this whole Seattle passing attack, a lot better than so many predicted. And hopefully they could just keep it up, keep it up. It's looking great. So I'm going to go back with my guy that's returning this week. We mentioned him, Rashee Rice, Kansas City Chiefs. Look, and Teixeira said it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, right? We hope that we could see what he has to offer. This is going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. As Bob stated earlier in the show, this is a tight, usually game because it's defensive, but Patrick Mahomes needs this guy back, man. He needs that true number one dominant force in this offense. Patrick Mahomes has elevated his play the last couple weeks. I just think that Rashee Rice I know he's just coming back. You worry about snap share, whatever. He's too good of a player not to put in your lineup in a matchup like this. So you got to play him. We'll see what happens. I think that he's still, being the player quality that he is, could still do really well this week on a limited snap share. So against the Raiders defense that are giving up a lot to wide receivers, Rashee Rice, I say a ceiling of 20 points with a floor of 10. I think that's what you get this week. And there definitely could be somewhere in between there, but I do want to play him. I'm not going to be afraid to not play him this week. So let's go over now into the tight ends to share as we await more questions. Tight end, you're going to be starting here in week 7. Who you going with this week?
Yeah, Bob touched on it a little bit earlier in that Colts Chargers games before he had to go. I'm going Tyler Warren. I think Daniel Jones is going to have himself a day throwing the ball around. I think he's going to just have JT just pump his brakes, be like, it's my show today. And I think that both him and Michael Pittman get in the end zone. But I think that Tyler Warren can have the bigger day. I have a ceiling of 22 points and a floor of 14. I think that he'll be carried more so by the receptions than yardage per se. I think you can have 8 to 10, probably 12, probably if the best case scenario, if this game stays close and becomes a shootout of sorts, and then, falling in the end zone. I think that's what gets him there, and you'll be happy you started him this week.
Yeah, we got to play Tyler Warren, man. The guy's awesome. Like, I could sit down and eat Taco Bell with Tyler Warren. Like, that is how
cool. Hell yeah.
Like, go in there, hit them 2K special deals that they have going back to the 2000s.
What do you think he eats from Taco Bell? What do you think Tyler Warren's menu?
Probably 5-layer burrito, nachos grande. I mean, he could have a variety. I mean, he would clean the place out. The guy's a beast. But let me just say this. I do love the call of Tyler Warren, but I'm going to go with my tight end here this week, guys. Sneakily, quietly playing very, very well. And if you have the guy, I mean, geez, oh man, you're thankful you're finally starting to see the results. Dallas Goedert, Philadelphia Eagles, tight end 4 overall right now in the league right now in fantasy football. So he's looking really good. He's playing really well. We know the Eagles have their troubles throwing the ball to the outside of the field. And look, man, the ball's going to go somewhere. It seems like Jalen Hurts is really leaning on him right now, especially in the red zone, right? And I talk about it all the time. Touchdowns are so important for tight ends, and the Vikings kill receivers. It just makes sense that they're probably going to look for the easy stuff in the middle of the field and ride the hot hand, man. Dallas Goedert looks good right now. But Teixeira, we're going into the dreaded sits, and since we are close to Halloween, we got the dreaded sits here for week 7, my friend. So quarterback, you're sitting down for week 7. Who you pulling the plug on this week?
It pains me, TJ. It was one of my quarterbacks I love so much, but it's Matt Stafford over there in that London game against the Jaguars defense. Those international games, they're sloppy, they're messy, they're not so good. And also coupled by the fact that he's lost his top target in Puka Nacua there. And I think that the Jaguars defense is legitimate. I think that they could keep him honest and humble this weekend and really cap his fantasy ceiling. I think ceiling's 14 points for me and the floor is like 10. Like I think that it's going to be a really low scoring drubbing of a game. And I don't think that Devontae Adams is going to, or Tyler Higbee is going to save Matt Stafford's day. I would just try to avoid him and pivot if you can to another option.
Yeah, I love the call out because I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
Just for all the same reasons you said. Like, these London games are cursed, right? And I mean, really, you go back, like, I kind of looked at this. He's never really played all that well across the pond, Trevor Lawrence. So it's kind of history repeating itself. Like you said, a lot of bad football being played over there right now. Look, and the reason I bring him up is because you're not going to start Trevor Lawrence every week in a one quarterback league, but we do have buys right now. We do have injuries. All I'm saying is if you have a couple options, I would definitely look in another direction if you're kind of digging more towards the bottom of the barrel. But some people don't have a choice. I know I'm in a couple situations in leagues where it's tough, so I couldn't blame you. But let's go into running backs to share. Running back that you're going to make ride the pine this week.
Yeah, I'm going to have Tony Pollard ride the pine this week. And because I think the emergence of Tajay Spears being healthy again and getting on the field, we saw it a little bit last week. He's going to cut into Tony Pollard's snap share. The Titans keep losing games. They're going to see what they got out of Tajay. And even though that Tony Pollard's done an admirable job, an honest job there, I just don't think he's the future with the Titans. And why burn out your best asset at come close to the trade deadline? And if one of these contenders want to make a move for him, you want to have him healthy and available to you to make that deal to help your team in the long run. And I think Tajay Spears, we know he's got the capabilities and the talent to do so, but does he have the legs to keep himself on the field? So I think just staying away from ultimately that Tennessee backfield against that New England defense is playing hungry. But yeah, sad Tony Pollard, just gotta keep him out of your lineups.
So to share, a great minds think alike because, I'm sitting a backfield as well, and I'm sitting the Seattle Seahawk backfield this week going up against the Houston Texans. I mean, the Texans are in the bottom 10 in fantasy points per game, rushing yards, and explosive run rate allowed. I mean, they definitely, and I think a lot of it is too that, they get behind and team, you know what I mean? And teams just are keeping pace. It's a throwing marathon-y type game when you're playing the Houston Texans. Running backs get phased out. So I just don't see a great deal for either of these guys. And as you mentioned, who's it really going to be? Like Kenneth Walker, underwhelming. Zach Charbonnet, underwhelming. I just want to stay away from underwhelming this week. So I'm not going to play either of them guys. It's unfortunate because, I had hopes for Charbonnet maybe taking the job from Walker because I did expect Walker to struggle, as everyone knows. But Charbonnet doesn't look good either. So they're going to have to maybe get one of those running backs that you suggested earlier in the show. We hope so. But let's go into the wide receivers. Wide receiver sit for week 6. Who's it going to be?
I'm doubling down on my Cardinals take, and I'm going Marvin Harrison Jr. I know they're at home. They're playing the Green Bay Packers, and they got Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball to them. But I just don't think that the Packers are going to replicate letting their number one wide receiver on the other side of the ball torch them like they did with Jamar Chase did to him last week at home. I think that they're going to lock in on him and key him. I think it's going to be a really low capped fantasy performance. I think I have a ceiling of 14 points for him and probably a floor of 8 because if he isn't able to find the end zone, the only way he's going to get points is if he gets receptions and he busts one big play out for like 40, 60 yards. Other than that, you're going to probably be disappointed with throwing Marvin Harrison Jr. in lineups.
Okay, yeah, definitely a lot of good points. And really quickly, my wide receiver sit's going to be Jalen Waddle. We know it's going to be the Win Bowl in Cleveland. And now, because there's only one pass catcher I might believe in, it's Darren Waller in the red zone, Achane on the dump offs. I mean, we know Miami in a prolific throwing offense anyway, and now you got these weather conditions. Tua's not a good outdoor quarterback in bad conditions. So I'm not touching Jalen Waddle this week. Guy, maybe if he gets traded, maybe his fortunes change. But right now, it definitely don't look good. We have Spartacus asking here, Spartacus Medina asking, in redraft, I could pick up either Burden, Golden, or Coker. Who should I pick up? So you can pick up one of them guys in a redraft league. right now, Teixeira. Who you grabbing off the wire?
I'm grabbing Golden. I think he's going to be the one that could make you the most immediate impact this week, going in the short term future, because it is redraft. You need to win now. You need to score points now. I think Coker takes a little weaker to getting back into the swing of things with the Panthers offense. I do think he's going to overtake Leggett in that wide receiver role, because Leggett's just been hot trash garbage. I mean, I love the person, but he's just not cutting it there for the Panthers. And then as far as Burden goes, it's the bad weather game. I don't think that the Ben Johnson, Caleb offense is going to be relying on their third utilitarian special trick play option to win them a game.
Yeah, and I think if you're going long term, like I'm banking on Golden too, not just even in the short term, but long term. Look, I love Coker. Health's always an issue with him, it seems like. Plus, like we see the emergence of Tet McMillan. How's he going to fit in that offense now? Beside Tet McMillan, we don't know that. And then Burden, as you said, so many mouths to feed in Chicago. It seems like they want to get him going a little bit, but I just think Golden has the more opportunity to make the most impact this year, Spartacus. I agree with Teixeira. That's who I'm going to pick up. And we have Alex asking here, Moore or JMO this week? Who are you going to
guess DJ Moore. I'm guessing that's DJ Moore.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Yeah, DJ Moore. Yeah, DJ Moore or JMO.
I like the prospect of a Monday Night Miracle. I think the Lions are going to come back swinging, and they're going to come back doing their bread and butter stuff. And I think we saw a little bit of what JMO was able to do against the Chiefs. I think we see more of that. And I just think DJ Moore, bad weather game. He's already kind of on the stink eye of Caleb Williams and that Ben Johnson offense. So I'm going to go JMO this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go JMO as well. And I correct me if I'm wrong, Teixeira, but seems like he always plays the Tampa Bay Buccaneers really well. Like in my memory bank serves me well. It seems like he has some better games against them. So we're big believers in history and things repeating themselves. And look, I like DJ Moore a lot, and he clarified it was DJ Moore.
Yep.
I like him a lot. I like the player, but really Caleb has eyes for Rome right now. Swift's really getting involved. It seems like he's kind of the 2B option in this offense at this point. And then it's anybody's guess from there. So I think I'll take I know they can both be kind of boom or busty, right? You never thought you'd say that about DJ Moore, but
yeah, I know, right?
They're kind of like boom or busty both right now, but I think there's more explosive opportunity with JMO, and the weather's going to be, it's going to be inside. So it's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot better on that front too. So give me Jamison Williams there, but we got to go over now. And what were we on? We're for the sits.
Tight ends.
We're on tight ends. Okay. So
did you give your wide receiver sit?
Oh, yeah. I don't think I did I? Hang on one second.
I said Marvin Harrison.
That's right. Okay. Let me pull up my list here. We're getting into the questions so hot and heavy, man.
I love it. Keep it up, guys. I love it.
I know. We're really lighting up the board here today. But my wide receiver sit is going to be A.J. Brown. I mean, unfortunately, like it's tough to say, and it's tough to sit down a player of that ilk. And I know a lot of people might not be crazy enough or bold enough to do it, but the Vikings have been killing wide receivers, man. I said start Dallas Goedert. I think that we're going to ride the hot hand with him, and it just seems like there's a disconnect with him and Jalen Hurts right now. I don't like the situation. I don't like the matchup. I just think that, if I had other options, I'm going to go that way. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying, guys.
Yeah.
If you don't have anybody else, you got to play AJ Brown. But like, if you have some of these deep rosters, like he just ain't even really crossing my mind this week. Like I will take some of these other guys and play them and see what happens. We have another question here from Merlum Kim. Asks, May or Dak this week? Gonna watch the Titans versus Patriots game. I really was leaning towards May. So he's watching the Titans Patriots game. He's saying, should I start Drake Mason and watching the game or Dak Prescott? Look, I mean, as a fan, I don't blame you whatsoever there. Like, I would want to start May, and it's very tempting after the games we've seen. But, man, oh, man, Dak Prescott's quarterback 3 right now. And, like, I just see this game with Washington being a shootout type of a game. Yet again, CeeDee Lamb is back. George Pickens is already there playing the way he's playing. Jake Ferguson's looked phenomenal. I think I got to stay with Dak there, Merlin. I think I got to go with Dak. But, I mean, if you pick Drake May, I wouldn't hate you for it. But I think I got to stay with Dak. Just going with my head more than my heart, I should say.
I can totally understand why, TJ. I'm also gonna play into the caveat, because I love it. I love the narrative, but I think I'm going Drake May here because it's the Mike Vrabel revenge game,
That's
and I
true.
think he's gonna let Drake May absolutely torch his old team. I know it's not gonna be the higher over under, so to speak, but I just love the thought of Drake May just absolutely destroying the moral load of the Tennessee Titans and drubbing on them in a rival, that sort of rematch game. I would love to lean May, but I'm going with you. I'm gonna stick with Dak. Like I don't hate, like you said, I don't hate it if you go Drake May, but I gotta think that with the higher over under and the more point potential in a game, I gotta go Dak Prescott.
I really don't think you get hurt really either way.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I just like if you want like a mega game, like I think Dak could have one of the mega type games, like how we seen against the Giants. Like I could see, that game being like a 30-40 type of game. I
Mhm.
could see it. I definitely could. So that's why I lean that way. But let's go into the tight end sits here to share a tight end. You're sitting down for week 7. Who is it?
I am sitting Theo Johnson of the New York Giants. I know he's the big new toy over there in New York, and Jackson Dart's playing really well, but I think that Denver secondary is going to have the Giants locked in, and they're not going to let any other tight ends get over the middle or become red zone threats. It's going to be really hard for Jackson Dart to push the ball down the field in that offense. And I think that you don't need to get cute with your tight end spot if you're trying to fill in with bye weeks or injuries. I would try to pivot to somewhere else, like a Dallas Goddard, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So my tight end I'm going to be sitting down is a guy that's kind of, been quietly good as well as AJ Barner this week. Like I'm going to sit AJ Barner. I just don't really like a lot of Seahawks this week outside of
Mhm.
JSN, maybe Cooper Cup if you needed a flex or, Sam Darnold, of course. I think that he could do just fine, but like it's just a touchdown or bust really for AJ Barner. And the Texans have only allowed one touchdown to the position this year. So if you're banking on a touchdown from him, it might be tougher to get in a game like this, right? So that's where I'm at. So yes, I agree. Couple guys there that have done well, a little bit better than people
Mhm.
expected, the Theo Johnson and AJ Barner, but I got to sit him down as well. Let's go into our Dabble Fantasy start of the week and our Dabble Fantasy sit of the week, brought to you by Dabble Fantasy. As you all know, Dabble Fantasy sponsors Dynasty DNA. Use the promo code DNA4 as a first time user. They'll give you $10 in free play on a lot of great DFS competitions, such as pick'ems, higher lowers, all kinds of other great things like that going on in the DFS app over there at Dabble Fantasy. Get your Dabble on with Dynasty DNA. Use Dabble Fantasy. Use that promo code DNA4, and you get a $10 free play for a first time user. Here we go, Tashera, your Dabble Fantasy start of the week. Who's it going to be?
I'm going with running back for the Detroit Lions, Jameer Gibbs. See, he plays very well at home inside the dome in the good weather conditions. Coming off the loss, I think the Lions are going to get back to their bread and butter, and that's their run game. That's been the biggest question from them, and how that wasn't to be able to be implemented against the Chiefs last week, even the week before. They just they wanted to see Jameer Gibbs get unleashed, like fully give him the reins of the backfield and let him dominate like he can. And I think this is the game against the Buccaneers to do so. They're going to have to put up points to keep up with Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. And I think Jameer Gibbs is the best weapon on offense for them to do that. So he's my set it, forget it, locked in, Dabble Fantasy start of the week.
Okay, I like it. So I'm gonna dial my inner Mike Shanuti here for my Dabble Fantasy start of the week, and it's gonna be Cam the Cran Eater Scataboo going up against the Denver Broncos. Look, man, I'm a believer in what the Giants are doing right now. It seems like they found a couple things that have really worked for them in pieces and players, system and offense. I mean, this guy's been a touchdown machine. I mean, don't think Denver's near as good as some of the people give them credit for. Look, I know that they are more of a, good at stopping the pass. So this game fits perfectly for Cam Scataboo. A lot of dump downs. They get down and around the red zone. He's about almost a guaranteed touchdown. If you want an anytime touchdown score this week, give me Cam Scataboo. Like, as long as he's healthy, I think he finds the paint. I really do. And I think this is one of them games that's going to be like 20 to like 24 or 28. And like, I could see it just being a slower pace game And I think that fits like Cam Scottaboo really well. Like, I think he's a touchdown guarantee this week. Give me Cam the Crayon Eater, as Mike Shanuti says. We love it. Mike says, or Bob says he's a Kool-Aid man. He busts through the wall. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. He's got so many nicknames.
Yeah, 100%. But let's go into our Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week, Teixeira. Who do you have for us for our Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week?
My sit of the week is gonna be Cam Ward of the Tennessee Titans. I think that just the idea of overcoming a hot New England team, playing with Vrabel coming back in town, he's going to know that team up and down, left and right. He's going to know the tendencies, and they're going to take advantage of new coach coming in here, the interim coach. And I think it's just a bad recipe for success for Cam Ward. Unfortunately, I love the talent and the ability, but it's not adding up for a good big fantasy performance. You should try to pivot and move away from him.
Yeah, I agree. It's unfortunate, but I'm on the same page with you there. So I'm going to be sitting down. Tua turned the ball over for the Miami Dolphins for my Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week. Look, it's unfortunate. We talked about it, man. This guy's never been good in outside conditions. It's going to be real nasty in Cleveland tomorrow, according to everybody. And I just don't like his chances if that's the case. I mean, he is a guy, too, that lost his top target, Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's been good to get it to Waller and Achane, but outside of that, we haven't seen much. And I just think this could be a super, super ugly game on the slate. I mean, this could be like a 17-10, 13-10 type of a game just because of the conditions and the fact that I know Cleveland and Miami both would like to run the football if they can, and that poses badly for Tua as well. I just don't really see no ceiling whatsoever, and the floor is even shaky. So my Dabble Fantasy Sit of the Week, Tua, turn the ball over. That's who I'm sitting down. So, man, oh man, what a great episode, man. A lot of great comments from you guys. We appreciate that. That was a great, fun answering exercise with a lot of great people chiming in. Happy to have you with us. Some new subscribers, some old subscribers. If you are enjoying the content here on YouTube Live and you are watching the show and you haven't yet, please subscribe. That really helps. Drop a comment anytime. We're happy to chat with you guys. If you want to join some of our other platforms, go over to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Amazon. Really, it's a podcasting network. You can find us over there, Dynasty DNA. We have all kinds of great shows. We have the Dynasty DNA Deep Dive, Whistle to Whistle. We have Stardom Cinema Saturday like you're hearing here. We have all kinds of great stuff, the Triple Threat podcast. There's so many great contributors like Teixeira and myself that are over there. You can listen and enjoy, and we'd love to have you available on all them podcasting platforms. Make sure to join the Facebook page. Teixeira is lighting that thing up routinely, the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Network. Man, you want to talk about a wealth and a treasure trove of fantasy football and football information, man, you got to get over there and join that. Follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. I know I speak for Teixeira, Bob, everyone here at the Dynasty DNA Podcasting Network when we say to you, good luck in all your games here for week 7. We wish you luck. Have fun. Enjoy your weekend. And also tune in tomorrow for the Dynasty DNA Morning Show. We'll be back. If you need any extra help, we'll be there here, available live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. But until then, I hope you guys have a good night, and we will see you